Hi, welcome to Art and Soul. My name is Mike Severin. Thank you so much for letting me into your home today. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend with me. I'd like to begin a little different than what I normally do. I had a letter an email that came in this morning that I want to share with you. And at the end of the show, there's credits that are on there that shows both my Facebook account as well as my email address. And I love hearing responses from people and questions. Today was really special because I got a letter from a lady that was watching the show a couple of weeks ago, not really on purpose. She actually was having a really hard time in her life and actually had a handful of pills in her hand. She was going to take her own life. And she sat down on the couch to take those pills, and my show happened to be on. And she said that the words that I said, the tone of voice, etc., helped get her through that very difficult moment in her life. And she was just wanting to thank me for being a part of helping her get through that very difficult time. That touched me in such an amazing way. It lets me know that maybe there's something that I'm saying that's helping you. And hopefully, if you're having a hard day, you're kind of down today, maybe by the end of the show, you're going to feel a lot better about yourself and be ready to go out there and face the world with a smile on your face. So anyway, thank you for that letter. And if, like I said, if you want to contact me, please do. I love hearing comments from people. Today, what we're going to do is start a new painting. We're working on a 16 by 20 stretch canvas, like always. And this is the painting. I'm going to put it down here on the palette so you can see it. It's a small painting that I did earlier this week. And we're going to do a similar scene. And it looks kind of complicated because it's incorporating people in, which we haven't painted on the show before. But it's actually really quite simple. So this first episode, what we're going to do, hopefully, is get our background in place. And then next episode, then we can put those people in there, and it'll make a really neat little painting that I think everyone will enjoy. That all being said, let's get to our palette and what we've got here on it today. I have what I call my mother colors. These are all colors that I use on a regular basis. Off of this palette, I can create almost any color that's out there. I have a whole, right off the screen here, you can't see it, but I've got a big old tote here full of tons of different colors, which I use periodically for special occasions. But for the most part, what I use on a regular daily basis in my studio at home are the colors that you see here on the palette. We have this red medium, our titanium white. In this case, we've got cobalt blue, our yellow ochre, and our burnt sienna. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to grab a smaller brush really quickly, and just with the burnt sienna, I'm going to block in so you see kind of what we're going to paint here, so you can get kind of an idea. So we're going to have a pretty high horizon line across here, and maybe we'll have a little ridge of mountains that are right along the coastline there. And then our ocean water will be like it's coming off the edge of the canvas there, but it'll come down and kind of do something similar to this. We'll have some breaking waves that are along here, and then we'll put in our two figures here, like I said, next week. So that kind of gives you kind of an outline of kind of what we're going to be working on tonight and developing. So we want to start here with our sky, and we want kind of a blue, hazy kind of, a lot of times, especially on the Oregon coast, you see scenes like this. So I'm going to take, first of all, my cobalt blue, just straight cobalt blue, and I want to take, and I'm using just this 1-inch brush here. A lot of people call it, a pastry brush or whatever. You can buy them at Walmart or at Home Depot, or they're just cheap little brushes. I like them for doing blocking in like we're going to be doing tonight. So all I've done is I've just covered up just those corners with just some straight cobalt blue. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take just some of the titanium white. I didn't clean my brush, and I'm just going to start bringing that titanium white in. And when I get up there to the blue, I'm just working it in really lightly. Grab some more of the titanium white, do the same thing over here. A lot of times when you are at the ocean, it's not just at the ocean, but you'll see it in nature in general. There's something that's far away, oftentimes there's a mist kind of that looks, because you're looking through the atmosphere, and especially with the ocean or the beach, any body of water, you've got a lot of that moisture that's in the air, which actually causes more of that the farther away that you are. Now, I don't know if you can notice it, but where I took that burnt sienna just to block in where that line was at, I picked up some of that as I was down here at the bottom, and it's grayed this that I've already painted. There was just enough of it there to gray that sky out a little bit, which is what I want. I was going to add that in, but it did it for me automatically. Now I want to take just a hint of the red, get that on the brush, and I did not clean my brush, and I want to just start scrubbing that in. If you notice, and you probably hear it actually, I'm using quite a bit of pressure as I'm pushing that into the canvas and covering up all of those spots that are a little bit white or in between the tooth of the canvas. And I really like that look. It's just a kind of a nice little mauve-ish color. It's real soft, but yet it definitely gives a feel in that sky of this. Maybe it's getting towards the end of the day and getting a little more towards dusk. Just a really nice feel to it. And I'm bringing in just straight titanium white, and I'm just bringing it in a few little spots here. And just by scrubbing that in, it's blending with the colors that are already on the canvas, but it also gives a really nice effect, like there's these low-lying clouds that are on there, which looks really nice like that. Now what we want to do is we want to take now this and put in this little bank of foothills that are there in the distance. And so what we want to do is I want to take some of that red, bring in some of the blue, and it gives us a really nice lavender mauve-ish color. And I've just kind of blended that there on the palette. And now I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to quickly block this in. Maybe grab just a little bit of paint thinner just to make that a little more fluid. I'm going to be pretty thin with it down there on that end as far as the height of that mountain range or hill range, foothills, because that's farther away from us and you wouldn't see it as much. And again, I'm just picking up more of those two colors. And this over here would be closest to us on the left side is going to be a little darker because it's actually going to be closer to us for one, but we're also not having as much of that atmosphere that's affecting the scene. It'll be a little more defined than what will be on the left or the right side here, where it'll be a little more dark and lighter, I mean, and just because it's going to be covered more with the atmosphere. So as you can see, I've got kind of a nice, this is much more of the lavenders here, and it gradates out a little bit more towards the tannish color over here. Now, what I want to do is I want to take and wipe my brush out because I want it to be, I don't want any excess paint on there. I just want a pretty dry brush. I still haven't cleaned my brush, but what I want to do now is I want to take and just scrub this. And as I scrub it, you can see it softens that up, and it looks like it's distant, a lot more distant. I want to do a little bit here, but not as much, because again, it's going from a little more defined over to a really soft over on this side. That's a good start. I like that. So now what I want to do now is we're going to take and get this water blocked in really quick. And so I'm going to take a pretty good amount of that cobalt blue. Get that out there. And I'm going to bring in just a hair bit of that red into it. And then some white. And I'm going to grab some paint thinner so we get this thinned down where it's pretty fluid. And if you notice, I'm not over mixing it on my canvas or on the palette there. I want it to be kind of a little bit of a blend, or a lot of different colors that are there. Now obviously the water is going to reflect the colors that are in the sky. There's going to be some reflection, and so that's the reason why we want to make sure that we keep the continuity between the two pretty good. It's usually a little lighter in the water, especially than what it is in the sky, but we see I'm just kind of blocking that in. Not anything real special. I'm just taking and just scrubbing that in. And I'm going to grab a little more paint, and there's parts of that have got a little stronger cobalt in it than others. I'll just grab some straight white. I get asked all the time to do ocean pictures, and everybody thinks that they're difficult to do, and they're actually quite simple once you've done a few of them and you get the feel of it. They're actually one of the simpler things that you can learn to paint. In fact, I use it a lot when I'm doing the lessons with people. Keep having to tap into that paint thinner because I just can't seem to get it fluid enough to where I like the way it comes off there. That's better. It comes out onto the canvas. So again, if you haven't painted with me before or don't know the process, what we're doing here today is what they call blocking in. Basically, we're just trying to cover up all of the canvas with color and get our subject matter located where we want it, so that then we can start coming in and adding in the fun parts of the painting. We've got this water that comes along down here at the bottom, and as this is closer, I'm going to lighten it up even more than what I have. Grab some paint thinner again and put it in there. I want this, like the water's been rushing up the beach here. I absolutely love the beach, and I don't get over there nearly enough. It's a shame, actually. I need to make time to get over there more often. It's just really peaceful. Some people, the ocean is not peaceful for them, and then there's others that love it. That looks really good. I like that. So we've got kind of our sky, we've got that distant hill range that's in there. We've got our water laid out. Let's take and kind of develop in kind of our sand here. And how we get to the sand is I'm going to take some of my burnt sienna, some of that yellow ochre, and I'm going to mix the two together. So we've got pretty nice sandy color. It's a and you can make this any degree of lightness as you would like. But you'll see here what we do with this. I have that pretty fluid, and I just want to start blocking this in. And I'm going to bring it right out into the water. That's a little darker actually than what I had hoped it would be, so that's real simple. We just bring in some more of our titanium white and lighten that up a little bit. I wanted to kind of touch to a little bit as I'm painting here. I have a really close friend of mine that somebody gave her a gift that they had made, and we were talking about it earlier this week, and she was like, "What am I going to do with that?" She said, "I don't like trinkets," and she was just kind of almost put out with it of why somebody would give that to her. And I had to remind her, I said, you know, they took the time to make that, had you specifically in mind when they made it. And I said, whether or not it's something that works into your decor in your home or not, it was made with love and given to you in love. And so you need to be appreciative of that. And she said, well, I guess I really hadn't thought about it in those terms. And I started sharing with her. I've had kind of some weird experiences here in the last week with some gift giving, and I was disappointed by the reactions of the people when I did what I did. And you know, you do what you feel is right in your heart, and you give, and what the person does with it is their deal, and you may not know how they feel. You go into it assuming that with expectations of that they're going to love it and all sorts of things, but oftentimes we're disappointed by the people's reaction. So when you give something, don't give with expectations. Give out of the joy of giving, and you never know what a blessing that might actually be to somebody. And be appreciative when someone gives stuff to you because they've thought of you and want to bless you. So that, as I was talking there, I just kind of covered up that whole canvas with that mixture. Now, what I want to do is I want to make it look like, and I don't know whether it picks it up on the screen or not, but there's little hairs that have come off of this brush, and I can take and pick them off, which is really simple to do and easy to do if you want to do that. But if you miss one of those and it's still on there, don't panic. Just let the paint dry, and then come back in with your finger, and you can just touch it and roll it. It comes right off, and you won't even tell that it was there. Now, I want to make some of this water look, or this sand look like it's wetter than this maybe that's farther over to the left, right here along the water line. So what I do is I come back in and I just grab, and again, through all of this, I have not cleaned my brush, if you've noticed. I come back in and I want to make up a little bit more of that mauve-ish color that I had used up there in the sky and in the foothills, because what we're doing is, again, we're trying to make continuity between our colors, between all of the painting. So with this mauve, see, it's a little darker than what I had kind of hoped for, but that's okay. We just come back in, add a little bit more titanium white into that, maybe bring in just a little bit more color into it, and we can lighten that up. But I want to make it so that right along this edge here, it looks like it's a little wetter. The sand color is different where it's wet versus where it's dried. So we're trying to basically give that illusion of wetter sand. So much of what being an artist is and painting is, it's not that we're trying to exactly copy what's there. We're trying to basically give an illusion. Your eye picks up on things, and it automatically will be able to tell that this is wet sand along here. And I know at this point you're going, wow, it doesn't look much like wet sand to me, but I think you'll see that it really does once we get a little farther. That's a little redder in there, and some of this is a little bluer colors to it. We want that variation. And again, I'm just doing back and forth motions here with the stroke. Nothing real dramatic there as far as the stroke. And what I want to do now is I want to come back in, and I'm going to grab a fan brush, and I want to start maybe developing out now a little bit more of those waves and right along the water line itself. I'm going to grab a little bit more of the titanium white, and I'm just using my fan brush, and I'm going to go straight into that titanium white, and I'm going to touch it down here into get some of this blue and some of that lavender together. And I want to take now and just a little bit distinguish out some of this water that's here. Now we're going to see it's a little bit, still need a little bit more of the white to it. I want more of a kind of a grayish to begin with here. And we just start coming back in and just follow that water line down where maybe that water's come back up and it recedes up and comes forward and back. You know, next time you go to the beach, take and really look at what the water is doing and how it reacts on the beach. And it's quite fascinating. Making that a little more fluid just so that it works well. Goes on smoother. And I'm not worried a whole lot about up here. We want to give just a little bit of a hint that that's where that water line is at. But I don't want a whole lot because, again, it's more towards the distance, and we don't really want to have a whole lot of focus being put there. We want it up here on our subject of the couple that's walking along the beach, enjoying the day, arm in arm. So I'm bringing some of that where the water maybe is still across the top of the sand. And then I want to take, we've got kind of that a little bit blocked in. So now I want to take and go straight into the titanium white. Now again, my brush is still dirty, but I want to take now and just do a little bit across the surface of the water, a few little spots here. And of course this is, I'm doing kind of a little bit of comma strokes and to a little degree. I don't want a lot of it because I don't want, I want it to be where the breakers are actually coming across the top, where the focus of how our water is reacting. And I like that. That looks pretty good. And you can take and work this as much as you would like to get it exactly the way you want it. Maybe you want yours a little brighter day. You can sure do that. Maybe you want to where the water's more stormy. Maybe the clouds more stormy. Maybe where the water's more choppy. It's your painting. You can do it any way that you would like. Now I'm going to grab a bigger fan brush here, and I'm going to go straight into that titanium white. And I'm going to load that brush up really well. I want to take and add in a little bit of the paint thinner just to make it a little more fluid. And then what I want to do is we're going to take and make these little breakers that are coming across that are hitting up right at the beach. And how we do that is very simply, I just take, not doing anything really that special, but I'm just coming along and every now and then doing a little squiggly motion, which gives the indication of some water movement that's there, where that wave might be breaking. And very quickly, you can end up having this beautiful area where these waves are crashing in on the beach. If you notice, I'm just kind of basically just scumbling with that brush. I'm not doing any real specific brush strokes. I'm just basically just letting it scumble across the surface, and places where maybe the water is breaking is underneath there. Take and develop those waves out a little bit more. And again, all we're doing on this episode is just blocking this in. We'll come back in next week and we'll do some highlighting on these waves. Make them look a little more wave-like just by doing some crusting on the top. But as you can see, that's a really quick, easy way of making a really nice little ocean scene where it's breaking up on the beach. Thank you for joining me today on Art and Soul. My name is Mike Severin. I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a blessed week this week. And CJ, as always, I love you.